Hey, good morning, Internet fans. It's Ryan Perry with Simple Biz Support. Today is Thursday, therefore it is Internet Marketing Thursday, and I have with me Virginie Dorn, CEO of Business Website Center. Good morning, Virginie.
Good morning, Ryan. How are you?
Hey, you remember who I am. I appreciate that.
I had my microphone off. I'm like, oops, I have to click.
All these little technicality behind the scene things we have to do in order to try and make this appear as professional as possible.
Yes. Yep.
So today you wanted to talk about schema code, which is like one of the most exciting things ever that we could possibly talk about. And the reason why it's so exciting is because nobody, and I mean nobody except a programmer, would ever get excited about schema code and would want to um, add it to their website. Let's just put it that way, because the reality is it's kind of a tedious process, but there can be a huge upside to incorporating schema code, and that's what we want to talk about. And hopefully, as business owners, if you're out there, you're a dentist or an attorney or an auto body shop, you're really not spending the time to code your own website. That's why we have people like Virginie that really get excited about things like schema code. And before I ramble on too deeply, first of all, welcome, Virginie.
Hi.
And second of all, kind of what is schema code? Why is it important? It doesn't seem to be, it's not something we hear in the news all the time. So why, what, who, huh?
Very good questions. And you're completely right. It's very tedious. So not all programmers have embraced it. But the truth of the matter, it's being encouraged by all the search engines. It's being actually approved by Google, Bing, Yahoo, and all major search engines. So it's important to pause today and take a look at what schema code is and what it can do for your ranking of your website. It started about a year or so ago, and at the beginning there was one type of schema code, which was one line of coding. Now there is hundreds. So it's a new way of coding. It's something that webmasters only can do because it's done in the hardcore part of your website. So it can be quite intricate and complicated, even for programmers. So today we're going to focus more on a general overview of what it is, what it does, and so forth. And in the next few weeks, if you don't mind, we can go in more depth and analyze the most important types of schema code that one should have on their website in order to improve their Google ranking.
Right. Just so we don't scare everybody away who's not a programmer, we're not going to get into the details, how to add it, what the different characters are and all those type of things. It's all going to be relevant to if your website is not found on Google right now because you have poor ranking, then schema code could be a great option. Also, if you're in a competitive market space and maybe you rank well or maybe you're even at the top, the question is then, especially in competitive markets, how do you stay at the top? And schema is one of those little pieces that you can add on. Now, what's interesting about schema, and Virginie will go into this a little bit more in detail, and she kind of hinted at it earlier, is that when it started a little over a year ago, there really wasn't a lot of different attributes that you could code for. I think it was like business name, maybe phone number, address. I forget exactly what they were. So why don't you kind of tell us generically what schema is in the first place, and why do the search engines approve it and want it on your website?
So schema is a code when a webmaster will need to add on a page or different pages of your website. Again, Google has not only approved it, it's asking webmaster to add it to make it easier for their search engines to understand what your web page and website is all about. So it's a piece of coding that needs to be incorporated, and it talks, there's different types of coding within schema itself. Then can again mention the name of a company, a phone number, fax number, the name of a principal, when the company was founded, who wrote an article, the address, the mailing address. It goes in great detail. Even within the address section of a schema code, there are different codes that will specify the street address, zip code, city, and state. So it goes in very big details on within the code itself. So again, it's placed in the HTML of your page. You need to ask your coder to do that. One thing is important. You want a programmer that has experience with schema, because if you do it wrong, like any other tools out there, it can really have a counter effect on the ranking of your website, and you could be penalized if, for instance, the schema code was inputted with wrong information. So you will be penalized for this. So make sure if you're going to do it, you do it right. So
I've got a quick question for you. If I have a brick and mortar website like I have here, I've got a physical address for my business, and so in the coding of the website, I have my address. Now on the outside, looking, the end user looking at my website sees the address. Isn't Google smart enough to be able to go, oh, okay, 6640 Redwood Drive, that's an address because it matches the index, and that's followed up with Rohnert Park, California, 94928. Why do you have any ideas? Why do we need to actually have a piece of code that says, okay, what's the street address? What's the city name? Who's the business owner?
You think when Google and Yahoo and all the others will know better. But the truth of the matter, in some of the websites, there are multiple addresses mentioned, and not all of them have to do with the location of a business. It could be an address of a project where they worked at. That doesn't mean that's the address of the company. So again, schema is so specific that the search engine doesn't even have to think about it. It right away knows, oh, company name, oh, AKA company name, oh, this is the fax number, that's the street address. So it doesn't have to go through all the text and maybe multiple addresses mentioned on a page, and it can go right to it. It also will help you when you get found on Google, and on the search engine page there's a block of different links for your own website. This is going to help you have that as well. In terms of maybe Kaiser Hospital, and there will be an address block with a link directly to the contact form. The schema is going to help you have that block search engine result. The search engine wanted, again, they approved it and they recommend it. So regardless of the reason behind their thought process, as webmasters, we have to, I don't know how to say it, we have to say, yes, we'll do it. And it's just more work.
Yeah, and I always tell people, especially from an SEO point of view, if you want to be found on Google, you need to play in their playground.
Yes.
So you need to have a Google Plus account. You should be active in that Google Plus account, if not just for the reason of appeasing Google. So if Google says, hey, this is a piece of code that helps our bots, and it just dawned on me also with the amount of pages that Google has to index on a daily basis, how many millions or billions of new pages of content are created every single day. I know if we go back maybe 2-3 years ago, getting your page size down, making it as small as possible so that Google could index it faster, because speed became an issue. And so I'm kind of just thinking off the cuff, maybe that's part of the issue, is that with schema, now Google is able to get the information it needs, acquire it quicker, so that, if it saves a millisecond, but it has to do that 1,000,000 times, that millisecond adds up quite a bit.
Absolutely. And again, it's even more detailed information than just an address. Nowadays, we can do schema for tax code. So if you're a lawyer, there's a tax code for lawyers. When you fill out with your paperwork with the IRS, you can actually put a schema code and put your tax code right in schema to, again, emphasize the fact that this is a lawyer-type website. It's crazy. You can, if you have a web page and talk about a movie, there's a genre or type of movie code, and you can say that's a science fiction type movie. It's just incredible the number of schema code they're releasing almost on a daily basis. And pretty much Google is so overwhelmed with those billions of websites, and now they're saying, well, if you're good, if you're the big player on the internet, you have to do the extra work and you have to code differently now. So, like you said, we have to play in their background, and we have to do what they say. Again, it's very complicated. It is here to stay. They made very strong indication that this is not a small product we're going to last for a year. So make sure you talk to your programmer. Make sure it's included on your website. and get it done, and you will see truly dramatic improvement very shortly.
Okay. Now you mentioned like the or not the tax code, but you can put in, whatever, I forget what it is, the code, and it says, oh, I'm an attorney or I'm this.
Yes.
The movies, you could do a genre. Do you know, and this is curiosity, is for people that have product pages, are they going to have a schema code for shoes versus boots? Because then it could be a red shoe versus a blue shoe. I mean, you could really get crazy if Schema decided to, as far as really being able to nail down the specificity. But poor gal that has to transcribe this is going to have fun with that one. Being able to really nail down exactly what that product is. Do you have any ideas if that's where they're going with this?
Yes, actually, I'm going to do a quick screen share here. Are you able to see it? So yes. If you have an e-commerce website, this is crucial. Schema has just went crazy with the type of attributes you can add for each of your product. And again, enabling the search engine to understand better what that product page is about, therefore indexing you better. So this is schema.org, schema.org. This is the official website for the code. So don't try to go elsewhere. You have to go to schema.org. If you're a programmer or if you're a site owner, you have some interest into it. This page alone is all this type of attributes you can have for products. I mean, we're talking audience, brand, color, depth, rating, accessory, item condition, logo, manufacturer, model, offers, product ID, review, SKU number, weight, width. It's crazy. It keeps on going. All of this are just pieces of code that need to be put in larger code. So as you can see, it can be, again, the word of the day, tedious, to get it done that way. But
yeah, especially for people that have 1,000+ SKUs.
Oh gosh.
I'll be all, no, thank you. I do not want that job.
Well, if you have a large e-commerce website and you have custom programmers working for you, I'm fairly sure you can work on some automation of the code. But again, it's still very new and hard to do that. But there is a way when there is a will. So
sure.
If you're selling 100,000 products on your website, there is a way to automate the schema code.
Yeah, there's got to be like a database import or something like that. But then you got to get it down to the individual page that one that one SKU is.
Yes, so. It's still more work because, for instance, if you wanted to do brand, color, and depth, there's a way to import the code into a schema, but you have to have a field somewhere and talk about what the brand is, what the color is, what the depth is. So it is complicated. It's definitely possible, and that's the way it's going to continue to grow, is with schema.
All right, and that's why I have great relationships with you, because I would go nuts if I had to sit in front of a computer and just code each page. That would drive me nuts. It takes a very special behavioral type to be able to do this on a daily basis. So much appreciated.
What are you saying? We're not social? We're very social in my team.
I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying it takes a tremendous amount of patience to do tedious work like that, and that is just not my behavioral style. So,
yeah.
All right, wonderful. Well, our time is up. That is a brief overview of Schema. We're going to dive into it a little bit deeper next week and just kind of go into the details. Again, we're not going to go into how to code it and all those type of things. It's all going to be about what's the relevancy between your website being successful and what Schema is. Virginie, as always, I appreciate your time, and I hope you have a wonderful day.
You too, Ryan. Bye-bye.
Bye.